Good afternoon. Happy to see you all here. My name is Frank Luo, and I will be moderating today's seminar. I don't know how many of you were here for the last seminar with the subject of Winter is Here, Introduction to Snowflake. Man, 2 weeks after, winter was really here. I hope you all were safe during that time and maybe enjoyed a little bit. All right, the winter is finally over, and we are here for another inspiration seminar. Today, the topic is winning your career through effective communication. I think we all know that communication is important. Being able to communicate effectively is perhaps the most important of all life skills. It is what enables us to pass information to other people and to understand what is said to us. Let me share a little bit of my own experience. Throughout my 20+ years of career time, I always got feedback that I need to work on communication skills. But I didn't really pay much attention in the early days because I believe as a software developer, my job was to write the best program in the world. My focus was to make sure the machine understands me. Whether a human understands me or not was not my priority. Obviously, as a consequence, I slowly realized that when it comes to complicated material, it's hard for me to explain and to make sure that to make myself clear. So I started looking for help. I have tried accent reduction therapy and one-on-one speech training. I have to say those things helped, but not by a lot. Then about 3 years ago, Shu Min, who is one of the panelists today and an active DCIA member, introduced me to Texas Dragon Toastmaster program. And let me tell you, that made a huge difference. If I didn't have that training, I probably won't be brave enough to be the moderator today. So DCIA invited the Texas Dragon team here to tell us why effective communication is crucial and how to improve. In the meantime, we can hear and observe how good they are and learn from them. Here is today's agenda. Our panelists, Grace Tyler, Mingkai Wu, Jen Benmat, Yanping Chen, Shumin Liu, each will present a communication and speech topic. Before we jump to the presentation, there are a few notes I'd like to bring to your attention. First, we encourage everyone, including the audience, to turn on the video because we want to see and recognize each other. However, Zoom chat will be disabled. We're doing so to ensure that we pay full attention to the panelist's speech and we do not want any distractions. We want to hear their tone change, observe their facial expression and gestures, and see how those helps in delivery messages. So no chats. And because of that, there's no way for audience to submit questions through chatting. Instead, a link to a Google form is available in the chat window now, and for questions, and I will present questions during the Q&A session at the end. Also, I want to call out there will be a breakout session in Yanping's talk around 3:05 p.m. It will be a quick and easy discussion. After the breakout, we all come back to the main room to continue Yanping's session. I understand some of you might not be able to participate. For example, you happen to be driving at that time, in which case it is okay. You can just stay in the main room, but I do want to encourage participation to gain the full benefit. At last, I want to make sure we all understand that going forward, the DCIA's seminars will start at 2 o'clock sharp. Not 2:05, not 2:01, but 2 o'clock. We're doing so to appreciate people who do come on time and help others to form a good habit to be punctual. All right, let's wrap up the logistic item and come to the topic. Let me present you Grace Tyler, the founder of Texas Dragon Toastmaster Club. Her topic is, if I can do it, so can you. Grace was born and raised in Hong Kong. She received her MBA from University of North Texas. Like many of us, she struggled with language and cultural difference for many years. Through Toastmaster training, she has become a confident speaker. Today, she's going to share her Toastmaster journey from feeling a 2 feet tall to a 7 feet tall, from a low self-esteem girl to a confident professional, helping hundreds of people develop their communication and leadership skills. Now, I turn the table to Grace.
How many of you would like to raise your salary by 50%? How many of you would like to raise your career value by 50%? Imagine working on one skill. Once you improve it, will raise your value by 50%. That one skill is public speaking. This is an advice by billionaire Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in history. Today, I'm going to share with you 2 stories. One is about Warren Buffett, how he conquered the fear of public speaking. Then, I will share my own story, how I struggled with public speaking. Let's start with Warren Buffett's story. How many of you heard of Warren Buffett? Yes, he is a very successful businessman. He is one of the most successful investors in history. He's a great communicator. But was he born with all these great communication skills? No. Just like many of us, he was terrified about public speaking at his early career. So he took a Dale Carnegie public speaking course to overcome the fear. He said at the back of the class, just the thought of being called on to speak, he got sick in his stomach and almost threw up. And he dropped the class. He's determined to overcome that fear. So he took the course and completed it the 2nd time. In his office, you won't see the diplomas, University of Nebraska, nor Columbus University. But you will see the Carnegie Public Speaking Certificate, dated January 13, 1952. Public speaking had made a major impact to his success in his business. After he completed the class of the public speaking, the next small step he took was to teach in small classes at local college. By speaking over and over with the same audience or small audience, it helped him build his confidence. By practicing over and over, it will help him overcome the fear and get familiar with the stressful situation. The next step that he took was to change his mindset, convert a negative thought into positive energy. Instead of thinking public speaking is something negative, he will redirect the thought into public speaking give me opportunity to gain competitive over my peers in the industry. That motivated him to work hard at it. Another small step that he took was to change the way he practiced presentation. Instead of staring at the slide and thinking inside his head, he would practice out loud in front of his peer or staff. Warren Buffett understands and recognizes how important learning public speaking skills to be successful, how critical it is to the success of his career as a financial advisor. He took small steps, specific steps to overcome the fear and build his confidence. All those steps, every one of us can take to overcome the fear of public speaking, right? I just shared with you Warren Buffett's story. Now, I would like to share my own public speaking journey. I was born and raised in Hong Kong. My native language is Chinese Cantonese. I came to the United States for graduate school. English is difficult enough. American slang, they make it more confusing. I remember the first day in my first job. The phone rang. ABC company. May I speak to Robert? I'm sorry, we don't have anyone called Robert. And I hung up the phone. Here comes Bob, running. Did I miss a phone call? I'm expecting a call from my wife. No, Bob, that was for Robert. You didn't miss a phone call. I didn't know Bob. It's the same as Robert. Bill and William, Charles, Chuck, Charlie, they are the same. At one evening, I went to a party. I was introduced to the host, but I couldn't catch his name. I was too shy to ask him to repeat that. So I listened to someone to call his name. Later, I heard his wife call him Han. As I was leaving the party, I confidently would shake his hand. Good night, Han. His wife looked at me funny. I thought I said it right. That's what she called him. The first semester in graduate school, I was so confused. So many classmates, they all have an uncle named Sam. They like to talk about their uncle in the class. See how simple things can be so confusing for foreigners. In graduate school, I studied very hard. So many times, I understand the question and I know the answer when the professor asked. But I didn't have the courage to raise my hand. There was a bully inside me who talked to me, Grace, do not speak up. People don't understand your English. You are going to make a fool of yourself. That bully always won. When you cannot communicate your thoughts, I was feeling like 2 feet tall. How many of you can relate to that? When I finished my MBA, I got a pretty good job as a program analyst. Pretty soon, I was promoted as project manager. Gradually, I have more meetings and more presentations. Public speaking, communication were my biggest challenge. At many performance review, just like Frank said, got the same challenge. My manager would say to me, Grace, you work hard. You have good technical skills, but you need to improve your communication skills. I was frustrated. I think many of you can relate to that. One day, the company made an announcement there is a Toastmaster speech crack program to train public speaking skills. It's an 8-week training. We meet at 7 o'clock in the morning. I was the only non-native speaker in the class. I studied the manual so hard. I prepared the speech. I memorized every word. But when I stood in front of the group, everything that I memorized, they threw away. And I couldn't think. How many of you have that experience before? A major change in my life started in 1993 when I served as the president of the Chinese Communication Support Group at Texas Instruments. I learned that some Chinese engineers were not happy because they work hard, they contribute, but they felt like they didn't get the same opportunity to advance their career because of language and cultural barriers. I did observe some barriers that held them back. For example, you work very hard on a project. You organize a team. Everyone work hard, met the goal, and some of them exceed the goals. Your manager was so happy with the result. He wanted to come to see you personally, congratulate you, and show appreciation to you. Your manager would say, hey, George, awesome job. You must have worked very hard. I really appreciate it. George, being a Chinese, being humble, and we were taught not to show the emotion. So here, a stern face. No, it was nothing. It wasn't that good. I should have done better. How many of you have done that before? Some of us have done that before, including myself. Can you imagine what the manager felt when he walked away? Instead of felt appreciated, he felt like maybe I didn't make a good decision. Maybe it wasn't a good judgment if it wasn't a good project. When you repeatedly put yourself down, your manager might think, maybe it's not that good. When it comes to promotion, your peer got the promotion, but you didn't. You wonder why. Learning to accept compliment with grace is good for our career. Just simply smile and say, thank you, I appreciate it. That will make you shine and make your manager feel appreciated. But most Chinese not aware of that. They always feel being humble and put themselves down over and over, but it's hurting their career. That's only one of the examples about the cultural differences that holding them back. I decided to form an Asian Toastmaster Club to help Asian engineers to overcome communication and language barriers. With the help of another TI, my mentor, Russ Hicks, we charter TI World Wranglers. Then we charter TI Center Orators. Those are great clubs. But most of the members were native speakers. Most Chinese didn't feel comfortable to join. So I had to change my strategy. I start organizing Asian Speechcraft program. Each one is 8 weeks long. The criteria for the attendance for the participants is Asian using English as a second language. At the end of the 4th Speechcraft program, we chartered the first Asian Toastmaster Club, Texas Dragon Toastmasters, with over 30 Asian engineers using English as second language as charter members. For the past 23 years, we have helped hundreds of people build their self-confidence and improve their communication skills. You may ask, hey Grace, how did you learn your public speaking? I joined Toastmaster for over 30 years. I attend a meeting to practice my public speaking skills. To expand my comfort zone, I participated at speech contests. I participated at club, area, division, and district levels contests. At the humorous speech contest, at the district level, the highest level, there were 7 division winners competing. I was the only one using English as a second language. There's about 2,000 members in District 50. I'm very proud. I won 3rd place. This is a beautiful trophy. I'm very proud of it. But more importantly, it helped build my self-confidence. I was completely changed. Besides joining Toastmaster Club meetings, I had the opportunity and the privilege to serve as club president, area governor, division governor, district chief judge, district awards chair, district TLI chairs. By serving all these club and district officer roles, I had numerous opportunities to practice public speaking. That was a life-changing experience. I also had the opportunity to serve CIE, the Chinese Institute of Engineers. I served that organization for over 15 years in different roles, including president and board chair. That provided me plenty of opportunity to speak to different type of audience, different size of audience, and different levels of management. Toastmaster and CIE have changed my life. I used to feel like 2 feet tall, but today I'm feeling like 7 feet tall. not only have I become a confident communicator, I have the opportunity to help many others become confident communicators. Ladies and gentlemen, oral communication is part of daily life. How well we verbalize our thoughts and ideas determines the impression that you make on people, and ultimately how successful you are in life. It doesn't matter how much you know if you cannot express it. Your thought deserves to be heard. Warren Buffett conquered his fear by taking a public speaking class and teaching small classes at local college. I practice public speaking in Toastmaster club meetings and serving the community. Public speaking is a trained skill. Everyone can be an effective speaker if you work at it. So start today. Improve your public speaking skills. If I can do it, so can you. Frank?
Thank you, Grace. I do share your journey. I used to feel 2 feet tall as well, but I don't practice as much as you do. So now I probably feel 5 or 6 feet tall instead of 7. Also, I want to express my personal thanks to you. As I said, without the Toastmaster training, I wouldn't be here. So thank you.